as we four don't even know each other that well, and the audience also doesn't know us that well, I thought like let's start with just a small, quick introduction of all of us, and let's start with Halana. Halana, please.
Well, my name is Halana Mediavilla, and I am a producer and director, and I produce a lot of different things, but my latest is Dirty Coin, which is the documentary on Bitcoin mining.
I love it. I love it. Dirty Coin.
Have you seen it?
Yes. Yes. Of course, I've seen it.
That's wonderful. Where did you see it?
One of the links that you have. Okay, I was speaking on the phone now. On the phone, on the microphone. Right. Yes, one of the links, and I sent it to my friend that she's right now doing a video of us. Yes. So yeah. Awesome. Thank you for the movie. Honestly. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So that's me.
Ralitsa?
Right. What should I say? What do you want me to say?
Who are you? What are you doing? Bitcoin, and maybe interesting also for people to know, like, why are you excited about Bitcoin?
Okay, why I'm excited about Bitcoin? I'm excited about Bitcoin, and I will stay excited because of the community. And if there are no Bitcoiners, the world will be just a place where I don't want to live in a place like that. So yes, I'm an artist. I'm an artist, and I'm trying to on a mission. Let's say like that. I would like to do something that is meaningful, and I'm finding meaning in Bitcoin. Everything else that I'm finding meaning is connected to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is connecting all of us, and I would like to to experience and be excited forever.
And yours is also the art gallery outside, right? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. That's my masterpiece, let's say like that, my Bitcoin masterpiece. I'm very, very grateful that I got inspired, and I did it. I really did it. I'm happy that it happened.
Awesome. Kyle?
Yeah. Thank you guys for being up here with you. It's an honor. Yeah, my name is Kyle. I'm from the U.S., born and raised in Seattle, Washington. Call myself a video maker. I've always struggled with, what do you call yourself, your identity or whatever. Just a curious human, and always been a critical thinker. Not always. Since I was like 16, I was woke up to a lot of the things, the challenges that the world has, and when I found Bitcoin, it connected a lot of those dots for me. So now I am podcasting, making Bitcoin content. I call myself a conference maxi because I go to a lot of conferences and Bitcoin events, and I just love connecting with other Bitcoiners. So currently making a documentary, and also have had some great advice from Halana over here. We spoke a couple weeks ago, and I'm making a documentary here in Bulgaria called Build on Bitcoin, The Bulgarian Journey, hoping to inspire more hodlers to become builders, get off the sidelines, get in the game, and to your point, Raleigh, find some purpose and meaning with this one precious life that we have. So thank you. Yeah.
What does it mean to actually build on Bitcoin? Like this is such a general term of like building a Bitcoin. I think people probably realize that like, okay, maybe it's like software coding, maybe it's that. Like what do you mean with like building on Bitcoin?
That's to me. It's not just writing code and stacking sats. That's the common myth that people have, right? They think, oh, what can I contribute? I don't know how to write code. There are so many different ways. We all have different gifts. We've got some guys in the audience here who are mining Bitcoin, living the sovereign life. Some of the best days that I had in Bulgaria were with these guys. And yeah, I think it's just a matter of finding how your life aligns with Bitcoin and contributing in some small way. And just kind of seeing where that goes. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I have a thoughts on your podcast. It's We Are Satoshi. Yes, that's my thought.
Building on Bitcoin can be making a movie, making a documentary. It could be hosting a meetup. It could be making a POS system, like we're saying, like Muscat. Building on Bitcoin. You're right. It doesn't need to be code. There are many ways to create in your presentation you were talking about the culture part. So one of the full pillars is culture, and I completely agree with you. And that's an area where you don't need to be a highly technical person to create that culture. I do believe that anybody that's on the front lines that is like creating community should really understand Bitcoin, because sometimes I'll go to different meetups and people will explain different things and I'm like, that's not how that works. And so I do think that if you're going to put yourself in a position of authority, you should, like learn and read a few books, have them available. But you can still do that. You can still start that way, and you will eventually get better because you will listen to people. You will be present, but not have that arrogance of thinking that you know when you actually don't know. But there's many different ways to build on Bitcoin, and I think that building on the culture is teaching people how to run their own nodes. Paying in sats, telling your local bar to accept Bitcoin.
Yes.
That's building on Bitcoin, and also not in a technical way.
100%. And there's something interesting because as Bitcoiner, we are really dependent on the Bitcoin market, especially as artists. And I'm really curious on what you guys think about that. And Ivan also brought us some questions, and I was like, I want to bring them in there. And one of his first questions actually for this panel for him was also, does the price or the current market conditions of Bitcoin play a role in creating art, in the role of like building on Bitcoin? What kind of role does that play, or does it even play a role? Maybe let's start with Karl.
Well, right now the price is down a couple percent, and the vibe here is very high. So I would say it doesn't really impact. Like if you're building on Bitcoin, a lot of Bitcoiners will ask like, how long have you been in Bitcoin? Not to ask how much Bitcoin you have, but to ask, have you been through a bear market? Because that's when the filtration of actual people who understand the revolution that we're going through happens. And obviously people are a little bit more likely to spend their sats when the price is high, but it's a non-factor in my opinion. Just personally, I like when the price goes down, and I just
me too. Yes.
yeah. So yeah, here you go.
I agree with what you said, and if it goes down, okay, go. But I know that it's going up again. Because I believe in Bitcoin, that's why.
When I started working on Dirty Coin, sorry, finish your thought.
No.
When I started working on Dirty Coin, it was 2021. So Bitcoin was like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, fantastic. This is going to be great. This is going up. This is going to the fucking moon. And I'm going to make a documentary about mining. Everybody's going to want it. I'm going to have to field my options because it's going to be incredible. And then suddenly, boom, the 2022 comes in, Bitcoin starts. And I'm like, fuck, man, I'm making a documentary about Bitcoin only. It's not like about crypto. It's about Bitcoin. And it was never about the price. It was about mining. And so I thought, well, this is going to suck because nobody wanted to invest in something that they felt the technology was dying. But then the hash rate was going up. So the price was going down, but hash rate was going through record levels, partly because Bitmain was 2 years late to deliver a bunch of miners to a bunch of people. So that's when people bought the miners during the bull, and then they received them during the bear, and then they couldn't even afford to plug them in for a lot of people. And what I really loved about working on Dirty Coin through the bear is that all the noise left Bitcoin. Only the people that were really mining efficiently, doing things well, had good business models. Those were the only people that survived because everybody else went bankrupt. Everybody else had to unplug their machines, sell them. There's a good aftermarket for machines, so it's not a problem. I agree that price isn't, like, we have a Geyser, a crowdfunding campaign, and through Bitcoin going down to 20s, we were still receiving donations. So I think that whoever uses Bitcoin. I don't necessarily think that the price has that much to do with it. I guess it depends on how much Bitcoin you have on your wallet or whatever, but I do believe that it changes the ecosystem and who's involved. So it's hypey when the price is up. It's hypey. People they're interested in the hype, and that means that you have more customers. You have more people that are interested. So this year, as Bitcoin broke 100K, or last year, yes, there has been a lot more interest in the film where there wasn't before. So even though I completely agree with what you're saying, that there's this like price doesn't really matter, it does change dynamics to a point where you are interacting with different people. The people that go to conferences during a bear market are different than the people that go to conferences during a bull market. But if you're selling art, you want more people to see. I don't know. I do. I definitely want more people. So I do think that it's more the culture, how the culture changes around that. But you don't need Bitcoin to be high to actually make art. In fact, when it's low, it's kind of for me, I rather build in the bear personally, but the bull for sure helps us recuperate our money.
So it's kind of the thing of where you build in a bear market and then you're ready for the storm if it comes in the bull market.
Hopefully, yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off.
That sounds very good, what you said. And yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and that's what it's great about it. Like, what kind of world we will live in if we don't have the courage to change anything? So we have to have courage, and I'm all about that. I would like to do something instead of just sitting and complaining about fiat.
So I'm in the middle of my edit right now, and we're also at the end of a 4-year cycle, which may end, who knows. But what I'm hearing from you, Halana, is that I should probably get it done as soon as possible.
I mean, but you can't time. It's like you can't time the market. You can't time your movie. But yeah, finish it. I want to watch it. So yes.
I'm also interested because you have described this 2021 market, and I'm really curious because I feel I was also in the 2021 market, but I haven't created anything there. So I was just a spectator and like a hodler, and started building on Bitcoin later on. And in this area in 2021, it was crazy for me because you went out on the street and Bitcoin was a topic. You can literally sit on the bus and hear someone talking about Bitcoin just like two fronts in front of you. Now we are over 100K, and I have this feeling, and maybe it's just my small feeling in my subjective area, that nobody really cares outside of us. There's not that much. Like the sentiment is almost like we're in a bear market, even though we are 60% up the last 12 months. Do you see a difference between like this bull market in 2025 and like what you've seen with Dirtycoin in 2021?
Yes. Yeah, because in 2021, it was also Ethereum, crypto, NFT time, So it was, people were talking about Bitcoin because they were talking about crypto as well. And crypto is all hype. It's all it is. So it's all marketing. So we are volunteering our time. Most of us spend money to work in Bitcoin. And nobody's paying us a salary. Well, at least, I don't know, most of us, nobody's paying us a salary and paying for our expenses to go to all these different conferences. So, but when it comes to, like, you go to Consensus, it's like all marketing and salespeople, all of them, and they're all there and they're all getting paid to be there. And so I believe that the reason why that last bull market was so intense was because you had so much of the crypto folks. And then people think that Bitcoin is crypto, and then that happened. But you go to a crypto conference, and you won't even hear the word Bitcoin unless it's like the new Bitcoin or better than Bitcoin, or it's always something else. And I think that because all those people have kind of moved into AI, AI, they just kind of move their online courses and all that stuff to AI. Yeah. And I think that that's one of the reasons why we're not seeing the same bull market is because sentiment, but I could give a shit, right? As long as we're actually going up. But I think that's the main reason is the fact that the crypto bros have kind of switched to a different area. So that's what I think is a difference, because I feel it too.
Yeah, I agree definitely what you're saying, and I think that most of the people right now are like flies. instead of like bees. So they're flying around the shitcoins, not realizing that they can be Bitcoiners, like be Bitcoiner. So good points, good points.
What is the difference between fly and bees? I would like. It seems like you have a
Literally
more
what I'm
comprehensive.
saying, like the flies are flying around like
Oh.
shitcoin. Yes. And bees, they like honey. So honey is the truth. I don't want to eat shit. I would like honey. Yes. And I'm okay with the bear markets. The bears like honey.
I love that comparison.
Thank you. Just a random idea a few days ago.
I think I have to dig deep into that. There's a nice meme in there. So you want to I think chime in first.
Not on this topic. I guess like even just taking a step back, like I was thinking, okay, we're talking about Bitcoin and creativity, right? And I'm genuinely curious, the folks that are in the room, like how many of you guys identify as creative?
Every one of you. I'm
We got
just
one
answering.
hand.
All of you are
No
creative.
hands?
Come on, you are guys.
Well, that's my point, right? Absolutely. We are all creative. And so like we're up here, Raleigh is an artist and a filmmaker, and we're all creating, but in my opinion, like creativity is a human condition. It's like part of, we're born creative, and then as we grow up, we go to school, and by the time we get done with school, we're just like, let me just basically regurgitate what I was just taught. We lose the creativity. There's tons of scientific studies on, children being more creative than adults. And so something that I've really been realizing recently as I go to all these Bitcoin conferences is that there's so many more of us that have great ideas and great things to contribute to the Bitcoin movement, but the culture, to your point, largely is created and cultivated online through podcasts primarily, but also just written work or other types of art. So my encouragement to everyone here in this room, really the only thing I really wanted to say today was that like start creating. Like we're not plebs, actually. That's another thing that I've picked up from some podcasters recently. The Bugle, these guys are, in my opinion, driving culture forward really nicely in Bitcoin. And so, be a pioneer, not a pleb. This is kind of the call to action that I would share. So just completely off topic, but back to you, Robin.
I love that though, because I think we, like, first of all, like maybe we, because you've said like we lose our creativity. Is there any way, and I don't know if you have answers for that, so I'm sorry if I ask questions that you don't have answers for, but it's just in my mind right now. Is there a way of like measuring or like seeing how creative someone is? If you say like there's like kids that are more creative?
Yes, actually there is a study. So there was an experiment of, his name was George something, I have to check again, but you can see it on a TED talk that he actually, from the beginning of when you're born, the children, everyone is born with creativity, but when you go to school, and not only to school, like everywhere, the people are telling you, just do this, do that, you can go to the toilet at this time, you can do, it's just all commands. And with the time, you're used to commands, and because of those commands, you cannot actually express yourself. And when you're authentic, when you express yourself, your creativity is growing. But we're in this kind of environment that it's just made like to push us, to put a shelf on us and to hide underneath and just feel like we're not creative. But we are creatures that have so much to offer and to show to the world. So his study is proving that. And I'm really, really excited like to inspire my students, and I see how creative they are. So I'm saying this, and I would like more people to think about themselves as that they can do whatever they want, and they are creative. Yes.
We cannot get these filters on top of us, right? Like there's like, we are creative and it's always in us, but it's like those, or like you have to show up at this time, like with all those rules and
Yeah, like
things.
robots,
Yeah.
like you just do that, do this, and follow the rules, obey the rules. We want rules, but without rulers. Like, okay, we can have rules. Of course, I don't want people to be killed on the street and just, doing horrible things that are happening nowadays in everywhere in the world. Fortunately, in the tube, like seeing some videos, and I'm so horrified. Okay, there should be rules. Yes, go to prison. This person that killed this girl at the metro, like horrible. Yes, there should be rules, but without rulers. So I get emotional. Yeah.
I love it. Really cool. By the way, because it's like a smaller audience, I want to make it, if you guys want to chime in or have a question or anything like that, like at any time, just like give me some sign of like hand sign, and we can do this at any time, because I think it's always great with smaller audiences to do that. Even with bigger audiences, it's fun to do. But like with back to art, I'm really, because I rarely talk about art on my podcast. It's so fun because we are so obsessed with where the price is going or how to secure your Bitcoin and all of that. And this is very important because price is usually the thing that gets people into Bitcoin. But I think we overdo it. I think we're going very far down the line of getting financialized, and financialized in content terms, especially now with the treasury companies, where they are now paying more and more of the influencers. They are now kind of influencing what's going to be said, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's just another asset, and we kind of come away from the creativity of that. Is there an aspect towards that where it kind of gets like harder to even be like someone in the art space in Bitcoin, because we all talk about the Bitcoin yield in strategy, but not like what we create beautiful art within Bitcoin. Whoever wants to take it.
I'll say something. So I've been spending a lot of time traveling with YouTubers, and if you study the YouTube algorithm, what performs well on YouTube is MicroStrategy, stocks, yield. If you talk about Lightning or mining, you get 0 clicks. So the incentives are set up in a way to actually drive someone who may want to talk about Lightning or talk about something that they're actually passionate about. Their business model is based on them getting clicks. And so I'm really curious, maybe you guys have some thoughts on this, of just like how Bitcoin shifts those incentives. There's this concept of value for value. If you've never heard of it, it's basically the idea that you provide value through your education or your content, and others will send you value back. This is what Nostr is based on, and there's now podcasting 2.0 platforms where people can stream you sats. Like all these innovations, I think 20 years from now will be commonplace and actually can shift people back towards the thing that they're genuinely passionate about. Because, I mean, if a bear market comes and you're talking about the price, your whole thing is done. There's a MSTR podcast that I was listening to. The price of MSTR went down for a month. The guy took a vacation. So yeah, just some thoughts there. I don't know if you guys have anything to add.
Maybe briefly explain what value for value is.
Well, you might have a better answer than me, but basically, like in the fiat world, my understanding is that we see this subscription model. So everybody, like all these businesses, are trying to get you to pay a set amount every single month, because if you have consistent income, then you have a more sustainable business. Versus value for value, you could put with things like a paywall with, call it 50 sats or 100 sats, and you could actually, instead of force people into a system where they're paying you every month, which we all hate. I don't like subscriptions. You can just say, look, I heard this article is valuable. I'm going to pay 100 sats for this article. So it opens up just like different opportunities for creators. And I think even more so, like there's this concept of the blue ocean theory. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but it's the idea that you connect two different domains. So like whatever you're interested in, whatever your craft is, my partner's a Pilates instructor, and I was encouraging her to get on Nostr because there's no Pilates instructors on Nostr. There's 1 million of them on Instagram. And so it's like it's basically finding a way to align your calling in this life with Bitcoin. And I think those who do that early will be rewarded, not just financially, but in other ways as well. So.
I think this was a great explanation. I couldn't put it better. But yeah, like blue ocean and red ocean is also an interesting field. It's also like a lot in sales and marketing. I want to go back to the inspiration of art, and especially as an artist. And I know it a little bit myself, but I cheat because my art form is podcasting, and so the inspiration is the guest, and so most of the inspiration actually comes from the guest, and I just play off his inspiration. So I guess I cheat a little bit with like coming up with inspirational things. But how do you guys come up with like your documentary, with Dirty Coin, with your paintings and all of the art that you guys are doing? Maybe let's start right with you.
Okay, well, now that we're going through terms, are you guys familiar with Ikigai? Yes.
I read the book.
Ah, okay. Well, there you go. So I did some soul searching, and I did my Ikigai. And with my background as a filmmaker in tech, in data centers, I just kind of felt like, how do you make, it's something that you can make money, that the world needs, and that you're passionate about. And for me, I felt like people needed to understand mining. And I felt more than for me, what inspires me is freedom, always. Anything that empowers people to be more free and to have control over their lives is something that will always get me excited. And so I did not want to just defend Bitcoin. I wanted to have people understand what data centers even look like. Because if we start outlawing these machines, that like data centers are okay, but not Bitcoin miners that are doing math. So we're going to outlaw math, and we're going to outlaw these machines, which is already the case in places like Norway, in Venezuela, even though it's the government now that's mining. And so I just felt that the lack of understanding of what is going on and the laws that are going to be being put in place that are against Bitcoin are ultimately going to screw with our freedom down the line with other computers. It's like, well, no, you can't run a Facebook type thing on your servers. We're the only Facebook, so your servers, we need to turn them off for what they're consuming too much electricity. It's a lot of is it even green? And then there's all these like bullshit layers to access, and then we're okay with it. We're okay with, no, you're right, it should be green electricity. It should be, yeah, put a law in for that. You're right, no, the miners shouldn't be consuming so much electricity. I don't like Bitcoin. Put a law against that. And then suddenly we're at a place where it's by design. We are now stripped of our freedom. And it's even I'm just future-proofing this because I know it's only going to get, where our entire lives are now in a data center, in the cloud somewhere. And so I just felt, for me, the inspiration was like you said, it's like it was a mission, it's a calling, I couldn't really do anything else. I really had to focus. And with every interview and every person that I tried to interview people that could give me like something bad. I'm like, come on, give it to me. And I interviewed Alex DeVry. So I do have Alex. I didn't interview more people because everybody else is just quoting Alex DeVry. And I was like, well, I'm just going to, all right, talk to the one guy that everybody else is quoting. Why am I going to talk to you if you're just quoting that guy, So I went to that guy. And so, yeah, I find inspiration, and then it becomes an obsession. It grows into something that I just have to attack. Attack is probably not the right word, but sometimes it feels like an attack. Yeah.
I love it. For me, inspiration comes on a daily basis. I could be inspired by the rain. I could be inspired by the snow. I can be inspired by you. I get inspired by communicating, by feeling emotions, and then just expressing them in my own way. So every day for me, it's meaningful. I don't know if tomorrow I'll wake up, so I would like to feel inspired. And when I feel down, I'm taking the brush or I'm writing something, and it helps me. It actually because of trying to do something, I feel better. Trying to grow, trying to help other people, to share, to talk, and having this freedom of saying what I feel, what I think. And when nobody can stop you, the inspiration is there. Like, I don't want someone to tell me, don't do this, don't do that. I want to feel inspired, and it comes from within. And I hope for more.
Raleigh is the expert on this in my film. We spent a day together, starting in your kitchen, where I don't know if you'll be okay with me sharing this, but I think it's good enough.
You do it anyways.
You have some rocks that you've painted. Simple thing as a rock, and they each have different words on them. And I was like, what are these rocks for? You said they're for inspiration. And then we went to this beautiful castle. It's like maybe an hour from Burgos. And I asked you, why are we here? Like, what's the point of coming here? And it's because the place or the environment that we're in inspires us. And it was actually one of the biggest lessons that I learned on my film. For me, I'm inspired by, or I cultivate inspiration by getting on my mountain bike and riding up a hill. But I think we all need to know, like, what are the prerequisites to put ourselves in position to create. And then the secondary thing is, like, it's going to be hard at times. And so having this, Alana, I love what you said, like freedom, having this North Star where even when things are hard and when it's like, it looks like it's not going to come together, if you have a driving mission or like a deep sense of what, there's kind of a difference between like motivation, inspiration, and having a mission, but just like sitting with that and thinking, okay, this sucks right now. Like when I started editing my film, I was like, I'm looking at like hundreds of hours of footage. I'm like, this is insane. But I have this mission. I have people too to deliver for. And I'm very much fueled by the community that has come behind the films. You can maybe speak to this, but man, it's so cool to have, almost 100 people donate to our Geyser campaign. Like our film would not be possible without specifically the Bulgarians, not just donating, but like letting me stay at their house. I was at, different people's apartments. I was at George Monolov's parents' house. Just the other night, I stayed with Ivan's grandma. She cooked me banitsa. So yeah, I think it's that's just my thoughts on that. Raleigh definitely will be talking about that exact topic in the film. I'm super excited about that. So.
It's also something that I've come to know just as something practical. When you change your environment, new things happen. And I have no way of explaining this. Like, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. It's just something that I've noticed. So, for example, if I'm writing or researching, I like to go to a coffee. Like, I don't know what it is, but like at home, I'm not as good as I'm doing in a coffee, because for me, home is like okay, I work at home. That's why it is like that. Home is extremely productive. That's where I like want to get things done, and where I go through my routines, where I go through the podcast, go through the live streams, where I go more outwards, and then actually I go outwards, like I go outside of my home to go inwards, because it's like if there are people around, like everything is there, I put my headphones on and it's like I'm just there and I cannot go anywhere else. And this is, it doesn't make sense logical for me, but it is just like that, where I change my environment and I can focus and be better there and just write things on Bitcoin. There's where maybe tweets come from. I write on a book. I have no clue if I even publish it, but it just like gives me the opportunity to collect my thoughts. And the most amazing thing is when you're on a long flight. If you've seen like, if you fly to like Miami or like Las Vegas or anything like that from like Vienna, and you have like one very long flight, like 8, 9, 10, 11 hours. And the first time you're going in there, maybe you have an audiobook, then you're like, I heard now 2 hours of audiobook. I want to have something else for the mind right now. So you go ahead and say like, okay, I'll get on this film or get on this movie. And I was like, okay, 2 films in, okay, it's half the time now gone. And you're like, okay, like what do I do now? Because there's no internet, you cannot work in there and stuff like that. And then it's where the bored phase comes in, where you get like kind of bored. And this is the phase that I love the most about the flights, because all of a sudden your head is filled with ideas, and all of a sudden I have ideas and thoughts in my head I've never have anywhere else, because you give your mind, you give your head the chance to relax and be bored. And as someone like me, I work so much. Like I have my daily podcast. I'm a co-founder of Microseed with the Stamping Kids. I have 4 live streams per week. I'm constantly in front of cameras. I'm constantly working. My girlfriend could attest to that. And so for me, having a time where I don't do anything is very hard because there's always something to do. You could always work on something. And so having those moments where you just in yourself, in your head, and be bored. And there's actually an interesting study, I think Harvard was it, or maybe Stanford, that did a study on being bored and how important it is for our brain to do that. And they even made a YouTube video, like a 30 minutes one on that. And I think it's super, super important to give your head the time to be inspired, the time to actually get thoughts in your head. And so when I listened to you guys, I had just exactly this thought in my head of like, how can you get more creative? You have to get the time in there. Because if you don't have time for it, like you will never. It's the same way. I mean, maybe other people struggle with the other side, but I struggle with relaxing. I have to constantly work. I have to constantly do something. So what I do is I put relaxation on my calendar. I put like this 2 hours, I'm gonna watch Netflix, I'm not gonna do anything, and I'm not allowed to check my emails, I'm not allowed to do anything like that. And so in the same way, I think we have to make time for inspiration, we have to make time for being inspired and having thoughts. And it's the last comparison, and now my rant is then slowly over. My last comparison is if you're going to the gym, you think while you're in the gym you grow your muscles, but it's actually when you're not in the gym where you grow your muscles, where you have the relaxation in there, where you have to give the muscle a little bit time to relax. And the same thing, especially with constantly our phone here, constantly so many incentives to like put things in your brain. You have to kind of shut it off and just be in yourself. Like I don't know if you ever tried that, but put a blindfold and like noise cancelling headphones on you and just be there for like an hour, and you freak out what thoughts you have. And so this is my small rant for that, but I don't have a question of you guys in my mind. Any thoughts on what I've just said?
I had thoughts when you said give yourself time. It's like when you're in a cocoon and you have to spread your wings so you can become a butterfly. So if you don't give yourself time, you cannot be a butterfly. So yeah, that's my thought.
I mean, I agree. Sometimes when my kids tell me, "Mom, I'm bored," I'm like, "Good." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Good," because it's the only time that I remember as a kid. I remember like taking my finger and like pretending it's a car and like just being so fucking bored. And just like when you're bored, you figure it out. Suddenly this becomes a maze and you need to, throw a ball and see where it goes. And like but not with the phone now, kids don't have that. They don't have that opportunity to be bored. But my kids do, because I came from Silicon Valley and I was like, no, this is too much. And I worked for a video game company when my oldest daughter was 2, and I had like every generation iPad, which was like 2 at the time, I believe, and every iPhone, which was also not that many at the time, but we had them all. And so she would be on it, and it would be the only time she was ever still. She would be like, and you would give her a phone, and it would just be like, and I already knew that was not going to be good. And so my daughter didn't have an iPhone again until she was 16. And then my other 2, there's a family iPad that they can use when it's time to use the screen, and it's very limited. And we have no TV. We don't even have Netflix anymore. And we play video games. I think video games are are better for you than some of these fucking movies, especially for kids. I mean, if you look at the content for children right now,
Horrible.
It's like grooming central. Everyone's gay. It's like everyone's fucking gay, and or they them or whatever. And so I do think that being bored is extremely important, because it's not just that you're letting other people that are creating be the rulers of your mind. But what are they programming in there? What is the algorithm is only going to push what it wants to push. So it used to be that you used to go to school for the indoctrination, but now the indoctrination comes to you. You don't need to go to school. It's right there on your hand. So I think that, I think I'm a huge fan of being bored. I'm a huge fan of my kids being bored. I love going to the beach. I leave my phone. I live 5 minutes away from the beach. I leave my phone. I don't bring it.
Same.
Flex.
Same.
Yes, that is a flex. That is a fucking flex. And so I agree completely with you. I think it's important to let the mind relax and to not just be consuming, and to just kind of, especially through editing. Like when I'm editing, I can't even watch movies because it's like I've literally been watching a movie all day long. I don't want to I'm like I can't. And so in those moments, being able to leave and then a scene kind of just makes sense in those walks. I think it's a combination of the exercise and lack of stimulation. So yeah, I'm totally with you on the being bored. I don't know that study, but I will definitely look for it. But I've seen it. I've observed it in myself, and I've observed it in my children that boredom is a good thing.
My mom did something that I'm super grateful for because I've come in I was kind of the first generation where the iPhone kind of came out. There was a PlayStation, there was like TV and everything like that. Like my first computer, house computer we got like when I was, I don't know, 8 or something like that. And we had Google on there and everything. And my mom said there is half an hour of screen time a day. That's all I got, and I had to decide: do I want to play half an hour PlayStation? Do I want to watch a movie, or like what do I do with that half an hour? And I had that until 15 years old. Until 18 years old, I had an hour, and then like after 18, I expanded that. But I had a very long time where I had almost no screen per day, and what I ended up doing, I was like, hey, like my uncle is a farmer. He's just a little bit away from me. So I was till like 15, 16 years old. I was every day at the farm helping him out. And at the time, I kind of felt bad for it because the other kids had like all those PlayStation, like they talked about all those games and all those movies. And I'm like, I cannot really talk about them because I haven't seen them. But in hindsight, I'm so happy for that because I was driving a tractor with 16 years old or 15 years old. I started with 12, but like that's so I was working on the farm from a very small age onwards, and I now notice the advantages that I have from that. Now I'm on the other side where I have screen literally all day long. I don't know if I count them, probably like 10, 12 hours because my work on screens and like even calming down is on screens. So like it's not good. But having that in a kid's brain is I think very damaging if you're the whole day in front of a screen. So just wanted to throw that in there. I was like, I think being strict on screen time with kids is I'm very cautious with that because I'm not a parent. So I don't want to make parent advice if I'm not even a parent. But I think it's probably a good idea, I would say.
Well, I'm a parent and I say yes. It is good advice. Yes.
I'm also a parent. And I'm thinking how I'm going to teach my kids that she would like to not spend that much time in front of the screen. I would like her to want to do something else, and I don't want her to tell her to stay for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, but if it's necessary, I will. She's 1 year old, so there's time to see what is going to happen. So let's see.
Yeah, I would just add to that. In the last year, I've been made aware of just the effect that light has on us, specifically blue light. I used to be a sunglasses, sunscreen guy. You can attest to that. I would always be covered up, and I would burn so easily. If you look into Dr. Jack Kruse, I highly recommend. Just the science now is mounting on how negative these blue light screens are for us. for men, decreases testosterone, messes up your sleep, increases your cortisol. It's this cycle. And so we look around and like people are struggling with health everywhere, and everyone's trying to point the finger at what it is. And in my view, it's largely the light environment that we're in. So we don't even have a TV in our house in Halana, 100%. When you're working on a screen all day, the first thing I want to do is go outside. So that's one thought. And then the second thing I would add is like, I'm very curious about how Bitcoin changes people's lives. That's one of the things in the film that I asked almost every single person. And whereas like in the fiat world, you don't have time. You don't get to be bored because you're just hustling, trying to make the next paycheck. With Bitcoin, one of the gifts that it's given me and many other people I've talked to is like it allows you to ask these deeper questions in life. And so I think it's our responsibility. My personal opinion is it's our responsibility to go down the other rabbit holes. Like talking about Bitcoin price again, it's like it's an endless circle of the same exact conversation. And so I'm very grateful that I found Bitcoin, and I think about all the generations before us that didn't even have this opportunity. And so yeah, just whatever rabbit hole. For me, it was light health the last year and a half, but yeah, that's what Bitcoin gives us, I think.
I kind of overlooked the time. We are almost at the end, and I also forgot about the question that I was supposed to ask. But I think this was a great conversation. So thank you guys for that. We have about like maybe 5 minutes left, something like that. So if you guys have any questions, we can throw them at the, how should I say, panel. At the panel. If not, I will ask the last question to each and every one of you. Maybe let's start right here with Kyle and go down the line. What is the number one thing that you want the people to get away from this talk?
It's just take action, and it doesn't have to be making content. Just do something, and like by showing up, every single person here is already doing that. But that would be my only thing that I would say.
From this talk, I'll be very happy if most of you actually get inspired, and as you said, do things that helps you and help the other people. So let's help each other, let's say it that way. And if you forget about what we're saying right now, just it's not, you can't remember everything in the world or what's going on like every time. But you can try to feel good and to do good. Let's not be evil, and let's not be that. Let's not be ugly. Let's say it that way. Like, if we want to to move on with life, we have to do something about it. Like, you can't just stay in one place and be miserable. So maybe forget about this conversation, but just feel good. I want you only to feel good from the whole conversation and not feel pressure that you have to know something. You have time to give yourself to grow and do more and more the way you want it, in your own way. So it's not about us, it's about you people. Like, find yourself.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love your passion. I can feel it. I can, like a radiator, I can feel it. Yes. Thank you guys for being here. I think that's really cool that you are here listening to us talk about Bitcoin culture and art. In terms of, I love it. Yeah, take action. You can do things. You can just do things. And in Bitcoin, you don't have to ask anybody for permission. You can just decide that, for me, Dirty Coin, you can go online now and look up Bitcoin mining on YouTube, and you can find hundreds of videos. So, but I still fucking did it because I was like, well, I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. And who's going to stop me? I want to see them try, you know? And so I believe that, you know, what I love about Bitcoin is that if you don't like your local Bitcoin community, create another one. If you think that it's is ran by a bunch of jackasses, create another Bitcoin community. It doesn't need to be just one. So, because some Bitcoin communities can be toxic sometimes. Depends on who's leading it. But yeah, you don't have to ask for permission. You can just go ahead and do it. You can just decide you want to make a podcast, you want to make a movie, you want to make art, you want to do whatever. You do it. And I would say that that's what I would want to close with is that this is a permissionless culture as well. And there's something for everyone. Right now, I think that there's Bitcoiners, they share a lot in common because it's early, and especially if you go back, it was only nerds. Now, people are like, oh, there's only nerds in Bitcoin. I'm like, should have seen it in 2015. I mean, only autistic nerds were like back in Bitcoin back then. And now it is like slowly, grown into autistic artists. No, I'm kidding. All kinds of people. And so the culture will continue to change, but ultimately there have been a lot of things that are similar in the people that are attracted to Bitcoin. But hopefully, if things go the way that they're going to go, everybody's going to be using Bitcoin. So there isn't going to be one Bitcoin culture. And God, I hope there isn't. And every time everybody's like, only cast iron pans, only meat, only this, only that, it's like fucking sheep. It's like just because it's Bitcoin doesn't mean you're just gonna be like, whatever your favorite influencer says. So I think that the more people are out there and the more people create, you are going to find your community. You are going to find people that are into your cast iron asparagus or whatever. But yeah, I guess that's what I would like to close with. Just do it.
That's freaking awesome. There is. Just to maybe summarize that and bring it in some thoughts for the closing, I can only talk about my journey because that's the only journey I know where I really know it. And there's two things I want to highlight. There's this taking actions from what you guys are saying and this permissionless. And we have often this thing in our head as saying oh, I cannot do this because of X, Y, Z. So before I started doing anything in Bitcoin, I had a lot of those thoughts of why would people listen to me? Why would I even start that podcast? And the same is with a painting, why would I paint that? Nobody will like it anyways. Nobody will buy it. Nobody will do anything with that. Why would I even do that? With the documentary, with everything, you have this thought in your head of I will create it, and outside of my mom, nobody will love it. And so, and this is a fallacy I think that a lot of people have, saying just because, and there's the other extreme also in there, that if you think everything I do is amazing, but most people I found are very insecure in what they're doing and if it has value for other people. But you will be surprised how amazing the value can be for another person if you just speak from what you are doing and how you can create something for other people. So I just want to leave with that, because I had that thought in the head when I started the podcast. Why would people listen to me? And I have, to this day, this small anxiety in me of saying, tomorrow it is all over and nobody will ever listen to me again, because they all see that I'm just an idiot on the internet and they stop listening to me. And I just want to speak that out loud, because we often have this insecurity and we think we are alone with that. And you would be shocked by how many people that have that reached great atmospheres that still have that. I haven't reached any great atmospheres, but I definitely have that every single day. And I've interviewed over 600 different people in Bitcoin, and some of them got to be my closest friends now. And I can tell all of you that there are a lot of people that look from the outside as they know everything. They're so smart and they're so intelligent and they're speaking so great. And then you talk with them and they're so insecure about what they're saying. And I'm like, you're God to people and you're insecure. That's phenomenal for me. That gives, I think, people the hope of saying hey, if I feel insecure about it, that's normal. It just means that you care about the thing, and is actually a good sign. So feel good about yourself, take action, don't ask for permission, and it's normal to be insecure, I guess, is my message.
You know, I'm going to add to that, but I know that we have to finish. It is also okay to think that you're really good at something.
Love that.
And that's something that for me, it was, I remember, man, there would be all these like lectures that we would have, like imposter syndrome and stuff, and let's all come together and talk about it. And I was like, am I the only person in the room that thinks that they're actually really fucking badass? Because I really think that my work is really good. Like, I never thought there was anything wrong with being proud of my work until everybody around me was like, yeah, but I just feel like an imposter, and I just feel like insecure. And I'm like, is it wrong for me to not feel that way? Because I don't feel that way. And I suppose I'm insecure about some things, but I would also like to say that it is okay to not be insecure. And it is okay to, to think that you're a rock star and to act like it. I don't know.
Absolutely. Then with that,
So thank you. Thank you all.
thank you so much.